I was feeling kinda down and like nobody really cared. So I crawled under the covers where I could say my prayers. I said, God, if you love me, why don't you show a sign? I fell asleep soon after, and this dream came to my mind. I found myself in the great beyond, in a great big house, and the house was God's, and He took me by the hand and led me to His kitchen. And taped up to this giant fridge were pictures of me as a kid, and every drawing that I ever did was with them. Well, there's no higher high, no feeling greater than seeing yourself on God's refrigerator. Well, I had no idea that God saw me as His child, or that He was thinking of me so dearly all the while. But there I was up on that door for all the world to see. I was precious to Him, and He thought the world of me. There I was in the great beyond, in a great big house, and the house was God's, and He took me by the hand and led me to His kitchen. And taped up to this giant fridge were pictures of me as a kid, and every drawing that I ever did was with them. Well, there's no higher high, no feeling greater than seeing yourself on God's refrigerator. Myself in the great beyond, in a great big house, and the house was God's, and He took me by the hand and led me to His kitchen. And taped up to this giant fridge were pictures of me as a kid, and every drawing that I ever did was with them. Well, there's no higher high, no feeling greater than seeing yourself on God's refrigerator. Just in case you ever feel forgotten and blue, well, I saw pictures of you up there too.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Marty Newman, the minister at Unity Spiritual Center, Port Richey, and I welcome you. And light this candle. That is the candle we light whenever we come together as a spiritual community at Unity Spiritual Center, Port Richey, and form a community, form a circle. Glad that you've joined us today. I love that song. I hope you can imagine yourself on God's refrigerator. Unity is a positive, practical path towards spiritual living. We trust that something from the message, the prayers, the music will uplift and bless you and inspire you wherever you are on your spiritual path. So will you take a moment with me as we pause, breathing deep into the center of our being for an opening time in the prayer. And it is with great gratitude that we come together today to breathe into the peaceful core of our being, to know our oneness with Spirit, to know that even though we can't see one another, even though we aren't in the same room, we still are one in spirit. That we know without a doubt. And we are grateful for that. We celebrate that, and we open ourselves to feeling that in the awareness of the presence of Spirit in and through us right now. Breathe into that as the truth of our being. We open our hearts and our minds as we think together today about what is ours to do, how we can be both flexible and resilient, recognizing that they are innate qualities within us. We rejoice in that, in all the innate divine powers in and through us. And for that we say thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen. Will you join me now, please, as we affirm together the vision statement for Unity Worldwide Ministries as it is held in churches around the globe. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. The mission for Unity Port Richey, through prayer, service, education, and outreach, we support transformation and heart-centered living. Our core values: spirit-led, learning, loving, joy-filled, community. And our prayerful intention for our community for this year, led by the divinity in and through each one of us, Unity Spiritual Center Port Richey moves forward into accepting our highest and best. We are richly blessed with generous gifts of prayers, time, talent, and finances that flow through us with ease and grace.
My name is Lorraine Simpson, and I would like to share our word for the day with you today. Our word for the day is now. I find my power in this very moment. There is power in this very moment. Yesterday is past, and tomorrow is not yet here. There is only this moment, ripe with promise and potential, ready for me to live into it fully. Through my many divine gifts, everything I need to get started is within me. I need not wait for the perfect moment to arrive, because there is no time more perfect than now, and no place more perfect than here. Procrastination has no place in my life. I fritter away my energy when I find reasons not to get started, losing my zeal and focus and inviting frustration into my life. Today, I claim the power of the present and say, this is the day I begin. Now is the time to begin, to serve, to forgive, to create, to love. From 2 Corinthians, see, now is the acceptable time. See, now is the day of salvation.
I invite you to take a deep and cleansing breath, deep into your being. Let your body relax as you exhale. Just feel every energy go out of your body so that you're fully relaxed and at peace. And just be in this moment now. Just as we heard in the daily word. Only as we are in this moment now, every moment, can we live life fully. Whatever may be troubling us, whatever we may be putting off, whatever we may be scolding ourselves for, let it go. Rest in this moment and let your spirit guide you as to what is appropriate for you to do. Sometimes it's not procrastination, perhaps. Sometimes it's allowing your body to rest. Be in the moment. Breathe in the moment. Breathe into that place where we know our oneness with the truth and spirit in and through us, where we know that we are the power that is the love and the kindness, the oneness with divine spirit, that our picture is absolutely on God's refrigerator. Breathe into that knowing and affirm with me, I am divine. I am loved. I am worthy. In this moment, I am fully who I came here to be, the best expression of divine being on this planet. And I am filled with gratitude. Amen. Joseph was a young Hebrew boy who had dreams and visions. And his dreams were sometimes about his 11 older brothers and even his parents bowing down to him. Well, He was a little arrogant and he bragged about it, and so no one liked that very much. He was, after all, the youngest of all the children, and his brothers became very jealous. Later, his father sent him out to the pastures where his brothers were watching the sheep just to check on them and take them some food. But his angry brothers sold him to a caravan going to Egypt. Now in Egypt, the caravan sold him to Potiphar, a wealthy and powerful Egyptian who saw that he was smart and capable and trustworthy, and put him in charge of all of his business affairs, where he prospered and did very well. Now Joseph was young and good looking, and Potiphar neglected his wife. And Potiphar's wife tried to seduce Joseph, but he refused to betray his master, and he fled from her. However, she was successful in getting his coat off of him, and so she called witnesses and used that to say he had tried to rape her. Of course, his master, hearing this, felt deceived and threw the Hebrew boy into the king's prison. But you know, once again, Joseph's jailer saw how steadfast and capable Joseph was, and pretty soon he had put him in charge of the whole prison. After some years and wonderful service, 2 of the king's primary officers landed in the prison for offending the king. One day Joseph noticed that they were troubled and asked what was the matter. Both said they had had strange dreams and they didn't know what to make of them. And they asked Joseph to interpret them, and so he did. He interpreted the dream of the cupbearer by saying, "In 3 days you will be released from prison, once again be in the king's favor and in good standing." And Joseph added, "When that happens, will you remember me?" He said to the baker, though, whose dream was quite dire, "In 3 days you will be put to death and hung on spikes in the courtyard." Joseph's interpretation in both cases proved to be quite correct. And sometime later, the king had some very troubling dreams that no one in the land could interpret to his satisfaction. And suddenly, the cupbearer remembered Joseph and recommended the king call him. Joseph interpreted the king's dream to mean that the land would have 7 years of prosperity and plenty, but it would be followed by at least 7 years of famine. And he further described to the king what they should do in order to save the food, store the food and the water, so that during those years of famine, they would be fed. Well, okay, the king quickly noticed how confident and capable and smart and trustworthy Joseph was, and again, he was put in charge of arranging everything so that his plan could be carried out. Now, the crux of this story about Joseph is resilience. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. Sometimes it's seen as toughness. I rather think that it is a willingness to face reality while still being vulnerable and open to the Spirit of truth and the principles in and through us. To rely on Joseph's did as the innate divine spirit within us to guide us as we make our way through whatever circumstances befall us, without denying what is really happening. Have you ever thought about, have you realized and appreciated your own resilience? Think about that. I believe the more that we recognize the positive qualities within us, the stronger they become and the more useful they are for us. Joseph absolutely demonstrated resilience. At the young age of 17, sold into slavery, he chose to be honest and trustworthy. Remember, he'd been betrayed by his brothers torn from this life of privilege and love. And yet he decided that he would not spend time blaming them for his misery. Instead, he made the best of the situation that he found himself in. And guess what? Once again, with Potiphar's wife, he was betrayed and he went to prison, and he chose to do the best he could in that situation. And his qualities were recognized, and he prospered, doing whatever he could to help others. And because of his steadfast attention to truth within him, he was lifted to a position of power and authority and prospered. Now, all of this past year, all of us have had to adjust to fairly severe changes in our ability to do what we're accustomed to doing with our normal ease and grace. This pandemic has clearly been for all of us a warning and a catalyst either to accept what is and adjust in the best way possible with gratitude, or get stuck in longing and wishing for how it used to be. We have within us the same resilience that Joseph had. Think about your life and the resilience you have already demonstrated over these years. Has it occurred to you to be grateful for all of that? Where did that come from? Yes, all of us have had influences and family and friends that have helped us in one way or another. But if you are watching this, whenever and wherever that is, something within you, an innate ability to think and act in your own best interest, is evident within you, just like it was in Joseph. Not in arrogance or greed, but in humility, in integrity. Now, I was in the sporting goods business for a number of years, and I learned quite a lot about fabrics in sport clothing. When we first got spandex, we were terribly excited because it was so stretchy and comfortable to wear when you were doing athletics, but it would get stretched out and sag. Now, for a while, once you washed it, it would snap back into place. But after about 50 washings, it would not retain its original shape. Then we got Lycra. Now, the great thing about Lycra was its resilience. Even when it stretched out the knees or the butt, it snapped back to its original space immediately. The problem with Lycra? It could not be dyed. At the time when color was really a key factor in sports clothing. Lycra had so much better resilience, but wasn't very adaptable, kind of a grayish fiber, mostly used in women's underwear. Spandex had adaptability for dye, but not a lot of resilience. So they began taking a Lycra fiber and wrapping spandex around it like that, and later on they began to use cotton and many other fibers. That way, the cloth around the Lycra could be dyed any color, and the fabric had great resilience. To succeed in life, we must acknowledge within us our ability for resilience and adaptability. We need to be able to snap back to remembering we're absolutely the innate divine expression of being, all the while adapting with integrity to the reality of the circumstances, the dye bath that we are in. Maybe you know the rest of Joseph's story. His family back in Canaan was suffering because of the great famine that was spreading across the land. The word came that there was food in Egypt, so the brothers traveled there to buy grain and bring it home. They had to appear before Joseph, and indeed, just as he had dreamed as a young lad, they bowed down to him. He recognized them, but it is clear he still had a little soul work to do. He was sharp with them, accused them of being spies. They denied that, declared who they were, and that their father and their youngest of their brothers was back home in Canaan. Joseph said in order for them to prove that they were not spies, that one of them would have to be put in jail and the others would have to go back home and then bring that youngest brother back to them. Now the rest of the story is long and mostly telling us that forgiveness, even when we really want to do it, may not always come that easily. If you want, look up Genesis 3rd chapter 37 through 50. Joseph, in his position of power and privilege, actually put his brothers through several stages of fear and suffering, requiring several trips between Egypt and Canaan, with threats even to Benjamin, their father's new favorite young son, born after Joseph was sold. Eventually, he reached a place of complete forgiveness, revealed himself to his family. They were reconciled, and all of them moved to Egypt under Joseph's protection to live and prosper for more than 250 years. The crux of this story is, just like each one of us, Joseph, in terms of his divinity, loved, treasured, inherited love, prosperity, wisdom, and grace. Now, things happen in our life which seem to deny that is the truth of our being. Our best effort is to see that whatever happens to us also happens for us, if we're willing to see it that way. Yes, living carefully and safely through this pandemic is hard and uncomfortable. So, how have we made it for good? Whatever the adjustment in our lives, this pandemic has called for how we can be willing to snap back, to remember gratitude for everything that brought us to this point, taking time to listen to Spirit and allow ourselves to be guided into the next right action. We all have the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. Remember Joseph and his dedication to doing the right thing, to staying in touch with the goodness, the Godness within him. Double mask whenever you are out or with others that you don't know. And remember and know that in spite of the realities of life, all is well. You are adaptive, you have flexibility, and you are resilient. You remember who you are and whose you are. We're so grateful that you are with us today and trust that you have been uplifted by this time together. If you will go to our website at unityportrichie.org and also look at what is posted both before and after this video, you will see our website at unityportrichie.org, where you can choose the donate button. We appreciate any gifts and all of the gifts that have been given to us with such substantial regular help. We appreciate that so that we can continue to offer these services and to sustain our community so that we can, when we are through this pandemic, come back together. Will you join me now as we affirm together the offertory blessing? In deep gratitude, I give way to the limitless flow of prospering substance. I am blessed with all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and the blessings are multiplied. Thank you, God.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around.
If you've joined us on Facebook, would you please like us if you haven't already? And if you haven't, we invite you to subscribe to us on YouTube. It will make it easier for you to find us. You can receive postings when we are getting ready to come on the air. And you also can just make it easier for you to find us and support us as well in doing so. Again, we appreciate your being with us today. And we have a wonderful song that fits right in with the talk today that you just heard. So as we join together, be sure to continue to listen to that after we have affirmed the prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
One little boy in Africa put a face on AIDS, and he told his story to the world till he died. And these are the words he said. He said, do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, in the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, in the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can. Holy Mother from India, helping the sick and the poor. Somebody asked, why do you do these things? She said, this is what I came here for. She said, do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, in the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, in the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can. Oh, you can. Oh, you can. This is a gift they gave to us to share wherever we go. You can be the change you wish to see in the world. And now I understand what they wanted us to know. They said, do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, in the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, in the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can. One little boy in Africa, do all you can. Holy Mother in India, do all you can. You can be the change you wish to see in the world, do all you can. Do all you can. Do all you can.